my life, failed, I succeeded. I failed, I succeeded. I had joy, I had pain. I had joy, I had pain. All through 35 or 40 years of entrepreneurial, executive, and producing activities in the entertainment fields and the business fields. But I began in the third act of my life to wonder, what is the difference between getting more joy and less pain, and more success and less failure? What was the difference maker? I decoded my own life. I began to realize I had it backwards. It wasn't storytelling. It was telling purposeful stories. It was using story and the emotional component of story to propel another person or persons, my teammates, my associates, my colleagues, my customers, the clients, to use the power of story and move them emotionally. The way we make sense of our life is narrative. You know, story isn't the icing on the cake, it's the cake. I mean, without it, you wouldn't be able to do. What would you go to a room? What would you say? You organize everything in the form of narrative. You intuitively know that. You have 95,000 years of training in 3 seconds on the other technologies. State-of-the-heart technology, not state-of-the-art technology, is the game changer. There are many steps to tell a great story, but the key is telling the story. 4 of the 5 steps, I like to say, are about the telling. Remember, this is oral narrative, the power to tell your story in the room, face-to-face, breathing the same air as the other person. When the chips are down and things really must happen for you, where you've got to convince somebody to your goal, where you've got to convince somebody to join your church, give your money, buy your product, when you've got to do that, in the room, face-to-face, breathing the same air, it's always what counts. First is motivation. Not me motivating you. No. Everyone thinks that's what it is. That really doesn't work too well. How are you motivated? How are you congruent? Before you walk into the room, before you tell your story in any form, on the phone, anyway, just like every great athlete, get in state. That intention is seen before you speak the first word. Then remember, you want to be authentic, not just intentional. Authentic means that your feet, tongue, heart, and wallet are going in the same direction, that your offering is generous, that what you want them to do is not about beating them, winning against them. There's a me turning to we. So that's really crucial. That's what motivation is really about. The second one, audience. Everybody you talk to, what you call your customer, your client, your patron, when you think of that, they project their groin and their wallet. That's what you're aiming for. Flops are born here. Hits are born here. You want to hit? Think of them as an audience. Render an experience to them. Use that story to create an emotional palette, emotional transportation to move them. The third element is the goal. All telling of stories is purposeful. All. You have a purpose for it. You're trying to create a relationship, not a transaction. That's what this emotional transportation does. And then it turns them not into one-time transactions, but into viral advocates for your proposition. They own the story. Fourth element is interactive. All good telling of stories is interactive. Everything. Interactive in the sense it's not a monologue. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. You want to pitch and catch. You want them to be a participant, not just a passenger. You want them to own the story. You don't want to own the story. Then they pay it forward. And that gap of letting them come forward by being an owner of it is the secret, rather than trying to control them. The final element, very important element, is the content. It's everywhere story. It's lurking. In order to make sense of our lives, we use narrative in every event in our whole life. Why do we not realize that? Content is everywhere. Best is your own experience. It comes authentic. It feels good. You hold it and you're giving them an experience. A story is something that moved you. Whether you read it in the magazine, a newspaper, or somebody told you. If it moves you, you can hijack it and move others. It doesn't require a lot of theatrics. It requires intention and attention. And that's what I hope Tell to Win provides.